One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.
right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. I'm Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. Good morning to you. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. We're going to go on a exploration of purpose today and what purpose can be for you, what purpose can be during a pandemic, what can be purpose moving forward, why you're here. But before we do that, let's move into the magic of the moment. Take a nice deep breath with me. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. Cheers to you. I hope that you're staying safe. I hope that you're staying healthy. I hope you're staying properly informed during these unprecedented times in our history. Let me just double check my mic, make sure we're all the way up on the volume. So this morning I wanted to talk about purpose. Going to have some outlets for you. Going to have some spiritual advice for you if you're open to that. And I hope that you had a great weekend. It was a nice sunny weekend here in Seattle. We didn't get out much, but we did get out to just enjoy just getting out of isolation. But we are ramping back up here in Washington State with this COVID, more cases, more hospitalizations, and more deaths, which we're seeing across the United States. So I hope that you're staying safe and being productive and finding purpose during this pandemic. So if you want to learn more about me, you can go to marclainhart.com. You can internet search the Intuitive Prospector, because I'm always in search of a spiritual goal, but you have to be a spiritual prospector in search of your own spiritual goal, and that's what I love to do in life. That's actually my purpose. It took me years to find my purpose. I had a passion for something else, but my purpose was revealed to me through many different outlets, including trauma and tragedy. You can go to marclainhart.com and read my backstory, read my information, read my education, and how I continuously prospect in life to learn all that I can, all that is unseen, all that is unknown, what we call pseudoscience, things that you can prove, but things you can't prove either. Metaphysics, what is seen and what is seen. So you can also find me at Best American Psychics, Best Psychic Directory, Ariel Spiritual Community, and or FamousPsychicMediums.com. Love to do some spiritual prospecting with you to help you on your journey best I can. So it's Monday morning. Thanks for being here. I'm here every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed immediately after with the Healing Cafe. I'm trying to actually create some Healing Cafe highlights of past readings I've done over the last few months, and some real healing that's come through from people from the other side. You get a direct reading from me if I can get to you in the queue. Depends on how many people show up for the Healing Cafe. But that starts at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Intuitive Prospector channel. So make sure to join the close to 30,000 spiritual prospectors every Monday morning here on the Intuitive Prospector page by liking, subscribing, sharing. And good morning to all of you. Got some people tuning in. Good morning to my team behind the scenes that helps me manage this show and manage the comments, and really are a big inspiration to help me get up every Monday morning to do this, because there's some Mondays you're just like, it's Monday, I don't want to do this. The world is literally falling apart. We've got social unrest, we've got political divide, we've got this quarantine and this pandemic, and it's like, where can I find my purpose in this, as far as you know, why do I get up every morning to try to tackle, you know, what life is? And life is learn it from experience. That's what I've learned about this. But I wanted to read some quotes. You know, Charles Dickens reminded me, and this is kind of what I was doing in my meditation this morning, thinking last night about what I do for my shows, because my shows are never planned or never scripted. You know, here's my book with, you know, pages 0, 0, and I just kind of show up. And talk about what I'm feeling with consciousness, what I'm feeling, what that vibration is. You know, past readings that I've done the last week, I've been doing a lot of readings. There's a lot of people that just feel stuck. I keep hearing that word, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do with all this, Marc. And, you know, my readings aren't just about psychic and mediumship either, as you guys. It's also about helping people. It's also being a life coach, you know, talking through some stuff, a little bit of psychology, a little bit of healing. But Charles Dickens talks about the best way to lengthen out our days is to walk steadily and to walk with purpose. And, you know, there's a lot going on in the journey today. You know, there was another quote that I was going to read to you from Tony Robbins, who, if you follow Tony Robbins, big following, very inspirational life coach, and I'm kind of transitioning into that a little bit as well. I've got some workshops coming up this fall with a colleague of mine in Norway, and also a colleague of mine from England, that we're going to be doing some mediumship and some life inspirations and how to live again. So make sure to go to marclainhart.com under the events. Those are gonna be coming out soon. So I'm excited to be doing those. Those are gonna be all online, but we're preparing for that this fall. Kind of take the summer off to just do my shows, and I'm doing a lot of writing. If anything, the purpose I found through this pandemic, you guys, is doing a lot of writing, getting ready to release my newsletter. I'm writing on my book, writing on my next article for Home Times Magazine. But Tony Robbins talks about activity without purpose is the drain on your life. So this morning I wanted to come on and talk about purpose, and appreciate where you're at in the journey. Even if it's not where you want to be, every season serves a purpose. There's 4 seasons. We start with the spring, the summer, the fall, the winter. Today's a full moon. We call it the Sturgeon moon, August 3rd, which we're in the number 3, which is a very powerful number in itself. We're in a full moon cycle. So for those of you that don't believe in full moons, or that doesn't have any impact on you, I would behoove you and recommend to go look at the Farmer's Almanac, look at emergency medicine stats when there's a full moon. Like I said, I learned about the full moon cycle through emergency medicine and all the cases and all the calls that we go on during a full moon cycle, the days leading up to the full moon and 2 days after. So we'll be in this cycle until Wednesday of this week. And that's really where I started to learn about metaphysics and what is unseen and energy and frequency and vibration and all of that stuff, that woo-woo, if you will. But we're in a full moon cycle today, so just be really patient with yourself. Lots of breath work, lots of coffee if you need it, because this full moon cycle can be very intense for some of you, especially if you're sensitive or if you're an empath. But I was going to say, we're also heading up to the Lion's Gate. So for those of you that follow metaphysics, follow energy, follow consciousness, there's a big download taking place right now. And the Lion's Gate opened a few days ago on the 26th of July, and it goes through, I believe, the 11th or 12th. Somebody can correct me on that. But I know that the pinnacle part of the Lion's Gate is 8-8. So we're in the 8th month of the year. 8 is infinity. That's a lot of journey in, journey out. I predicted this month is going to carry some very historical, memorable things this next month, so be prepared for that. A lot of the predictions that I predicted up to this point have come. My hair's kind of freaking out today. Kind of got a wave going. Even my hair has purpose, I guess. But I had talked about some of the predictions that I've talked about way back in January 8th to be exact. I did that my prediction show on things that would come to pass, things that we're seeing, and we're seeing a lot of it. From the civil unrest to the awareness to racism, systemic racism. The collapse of statues coming down, the Confederate flag coming down, but it's also creating a bigger divide. And unfortunately, there's going to be more of this as we progress towards a national election. Unfortunately, here in America. But purpose is also to bring awareness, and even if that awareness is uncomfortable to people, and some of my posts as of late have caused a stir within people, or have caused an uncomfortability, which we call cognitive dissonance, which is when you're presenting facts of what is going on in the world, there are people that will refuse to see those facts because of their belief systems. And so this last few months has really been a learning experience for me as an observer, even just some of the personal attacks that I've taken from people based on my purpose. And my purpose is to bring awareness, to bring, of course, kindness, caring, and compassion to the planet as a light worker. But there are going to be people, even when you are trying to make a point, or you're trying to express something, or you're trying to bring awareness to something, you're going to be attacked. And I talk about criticism is kosher a lot of times, because I do get personally attacked in the social media world, which at first, for the first few years, it was really hard to deal with, to be honest with you. But when you are finding your authentic self, and you're moving with purpose, and you have a plan and passion for what you're doing, that just becomes kind of that noise. It becomes that kind of like if you watch the Charlie Brown, the grown-ups would talk, and it would be wrong, wrong, wrong. You're going to get a lot of that. You're going to get critics. You're going to get pundits. You're going to get skeptics. You're going to get people that are opinionated about who they think you are and who you should be for them. And I'd say forget all that noise. That's just the peanuts. Keep going on your purpose. Your purpose and your passion to be on this planet. Again, activity without purpose is a drain on your life. So find where you're at on this journey today. Appreciate where you're at in your journey. Even if it's not where you want to be, every season serves a purpose. And today's show is all about purpose, 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 purpose. What is the sense of it? Your sense of purpose is shaped by things you believe in and value. Your own personal code of behavior, if you will. For as a spiritualist, we're taught about the golden rule, paying it forward. Treat others as you like to be treated. Even when I put some of my posts out to my page, and like I said, I've got about 30,000 people that I reach through my page. There will be people that don't say anything about the positivity that I post, but as soon as I post something they disagree with, they attack. And again, there's a difference between arguing with somebody, guys, and debating somebody. And I'm really trying to teach people to start debating, which gives your ability to present your perspective, but also to listen back to another person's perspective. Because again, we're getting more divided, and I'm actually trying to bring people together, because part of my psychic predictions, the 4 things that I talked about in my show back on January 8th, was the great coming together, sustainability, self-mastery, and homeostasis. And I'll keep talking about that. But there are people that are going to just try to rip you apart. And it's sad, but at the same time, if you let it be, and I'm not going to let it be, I'm going to find my purpose is to inspire and to help and to serve and to heal. And your own personal sense of code of behavior is part of your purpose. Maybe you haven't found your purpose yet. Maybe you're like me and it took me years to find my purpose. I thought my purpose was to be a firefighter, but until an injury, cut my career short, I had to find a new purpose. And there were a few years of just spinning my wheels on traction of, I don't know where I'm going in life. And finally, I realized after taking a Myers-Briggs profile test that you're an inspirer, Mark. You need to be in the world of inspiring, kind of be like a Tony Robbins, but be a spiritualist, be a psychic, be a medium, but also help people in life coaching and inspiring people to see different, viewpoints of life. But at the same time, your purpose might be being a good friend, helping others, keeping healthy, improving your community, looking after your family, experiencing the world through travel and different cultures. That could be a sense of purpose. Is it big purpose? Is it small purpose? Some people know from an early age exactly what they want to be in life. Some of you watching my show today have no idea what you want to be in life, and this pandemic is creating chaos, and it's also creating transformation. It's interesting because I saw a report come out, because I follow data on what the economy's doing, and I keep a pulse check on what's going on in the world. And one of the things that came out was a GDP report, and GDP report is gross domestic product and what we produce as America, right? And it came out at 32.9 negative percentage, and people are like, oh my God, that's horrible. Yeah, that is horrible, because if you think of numbers, a Great Recession is measured by negative 2 to 4% GDP. The Great Depression was measured by negative 15 GDP. But I looked at it and saw, wow, if you round up 32.9, it becomes 33, negative 33% GDP. So if you see the graph, it's going like this, and then you hit 33 and it goes straight down. That's what transformation starts to look like. And when I looked at that, I saw 33 as the transformational number. It's the highest index of the numerology. It's a master number. It's called the global parent. And we're starting to see it based on reports. We're seeing it based on what's coming out into the public, whether it's pedophilia or UFOs or politics and people behind the scenes of great power. It's being revealed. And one of the posts that I posted on the Intuitive Prospector page a few days ago, where I talk about apocalypse, because I've been doing a lot of readings, and people are like, is this the end of the world, Mark? And I'm like, no, it's not. I promise you. The world will go on. Mother Earth will go on. Humans, maybe not so much if we can't figure our stuff out. But apocalypse is, it's really, if you break the word down, apocalypse is the reveal. It's the revelation of something. It's not what I was taught in Catholicism, that the apocalypse was this burning of the world and the end of the world. I don't see it that way. I look at it as a huge transformational process. I look at it as a big revelation process. And for some, that's going to be hard, because for those of you that have been woken up out of the matrix and have had that shaking that's caused the awakening, or you've been on that spiritual path, or you've been on that path of enlightenment, or whatever you want to call it, whatever your viewpoint is in life, because I never try to get anybody to ever believe what I believe. I plant seeds, and your free will and choice. You take those seeds where you want to take them and plant them or not plant them. But the apocalypse is really all about transformation and revelation, the reveal, the lifting of the veil, if you will. And so when I saw that number, negative 33 GDP, first my heart went, oh God, that's really bad for moving forward in the years ahead. Because for those of you that know history, the Great Depression was happened in 1929 with the collapse of the stock market, and it took years to get out of the Great Depression until we led up into World War II. My hope is that we don't go that same path, and that we actually move together, and we have the great coming together to start transforming how we treat each other in this world, how we are in this world, and how we treat our planet, how we treat our home collectively from an eco standpoint, not an ego standpoint. So there's going to start to be some really revealing numbers. Some can be hard, some can be difficult to watch, some don't like change, which I get. But at the same time, that is going to maybe give you a new sense of purpose. This paradigm shift that we're going through, this might be something new for you to start thinking about a new way of education, a new way of healthcare. I mean, yesterday we just watched history as the SpaceX Dragon capsule landed in a splashdown water landing, first time in 45 years. So we're starting to expand into space. I just witnessed the spaceship that's going to start doing tourism, the actual mock-up of the actual spacecraft that's going to carry, kind of like being on an airplane, right? But it's going to be going into space. And the Galactic, Virgin Galactic, I think is what it's called, actually did a mock-up of what that ship's going to look like. So there's some really cool things that are coming. Robotics, artificial intelligence. I think that there's going to be more collective coming together for the universe, and how we finally have disclosure about that we're not alone in the universe. The timing feels right for everything. But this pandemic may give you a sense of purpose. If you go back through history and look at some of the great writers, some of the great scientists, some of the great philosophers, some of their greatest works came through a time of pandemic. I'm thinking the bubonic plague of the 1600s and Newton. I'm thinking about some of the discoveries from geometry to the laws of gravity being, discovered, which changed science and philosophy moving forward. So this pandemic is going to have a ripple effect. Right now, yes, it is horrible. There are people dying daily, which is horrible and horrific, and my deepest condolences to anybody that's been impacted by COVID. My family members have tested positive for it. I have friends that, I've had one friend that's passed from it, or directly or indirectly related to COVID. We have another family friend, her mom is in the hospital. So my condolences and my thoughts are with people that are impacted by COVID, family, friends, and this horrible situation that we find ourselves in. But this should be giving us purpose too, to start looking forward to having planning and prevention, something I've taught on for 25 plus years in healthcare. Planning, prevention, so we don't get to this type of scenario that we find ourselves in. There will be a lot of finger pointing, of course. History will reflect when we look back at this, and there will be accountability when the time is right. But right now we have to focus on the great coming together, not the great divide. And today is all about your purpose. What is your purpose? If you don't know your purpose, what are some of your passions? Discover the passions that you have and start having a plan to figure out your purpose and your passions, because that's a big point of what life is. Having a sense of purpose, why is that so important for the human condition, for the human journey? The sense of purpose, well, first, it's Metaphysical Mocha Monday, so your sense of purpose should be coffee. So, your sense of purpose should be your priorities in life. What are your priorities in life? But it really is the motivation that drives us toward a satisfying future. And I always say the best part about our future is it comes one day at a time. What seeds are you planting today for the future you want tomorrow? It also helps you to get the most from things that you do and achieve, and whether they're large or small projects, what you're doing right now. And right now, a lot of us aren't doing anything, and so that's creating anxiety, it's creating depression, it's creating arguments, it's creating divide, it's creating probably some divorces and separation of relationships. I've been doing a lot of relationship readings lately. So after this pandemic is over, which it'll be for the rest of 2021, or 2020 into 2021, just so you know, I've long predicted and I've long said for months now that the second wave is usually more dangerous than the original outbreak, just like history's taught us. It's not my own opinion. That's me going back and looking at history of great pandemics and outbreaks and seeing that, people get in quarantine for a few months and then they want to get out, rightfully so, because we're a species that is social. But the second wave is going to be more deadly now, unfortunately. More people are going to die. But what you can do is find your purpose in confinement and some things that you want to start planning on doing when this is all over. And it will end. This too shall pass. This pandemic, whether it works itself out through immunity and herd immunity, or we do get a vaccine, but just wait for that debate, guys. We're going to get a vaccine, and there's going to be a debate on not taking that vaccine, because you know, who's behind the vaccine and who wants to run the world. So there'll be another debate on top of this on, you know, just a life-saving vaccine, which is always interesting. But it shows you the chaos of what the human condition can be, what human opinion can be, which is the lowest form of consciousness, in my opinion. Again, speaking of opinions. But you can see how messy democracy can be, too, because you have two sides that are literally fighting for power. And it's funny because when I make a post, people want to label me as something, and I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat, I'm an independent, and I support the U.S. Constitution, but people want to put me into a bubble. They want to put me into that label. And again, be your authentic self. Come from a place of kindness, caring, compassion, moral standards, golden rule, pay it forward, but just know that you're going to get rebuked, you're going to get opinions thrown at you, you're going to get skepticism thrown at you, but stay the course. Follow your true passion. Follow your North Star. Don't worry about all the other stuff. Fix on your goal and stay forward, stay the course, and that becomes just background noise. It's kind of like, I always say what Winston Churchill talked about, if you stop to listen to every barking dog along the way, you're never going to get to where you're going. So, sense of purpose helps you prioritize your life. It helps you to make plans. Again, planning for, you know, some of your passions and what your purpose behind those passions are. It gets the drive to keep going, and even when things get tough, and things will get tough, I promise you. But at the same time, it's the part of that 5 laws of creation. What you put in, you get out. The universe will show up. Those in spirit world will show up to help you, but you do have to put that work in. We have a lot of us that just get on Amazon and order it, and it's at our door the next day. Well, it doesn't work with what you want from here out into your reality. Identify things that truly come if circumstances change. So think about what's coming to you, because our circumstances have changed dramatically. And I hate to say this, but you know, a lot of people are saying, God, I hope we go back to normal, Mark. And I'm like, unfortunately, we're not going back to normal. Normal wasn't working before, and when something's not working, you have to change it, you have to transform it, you have to evolve from it, you have to go through an alchemy process of great change, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And I think people are done with that outcome. I think people are done with racism, systemic racism, treating people because of the color of their skin or what they believe in or their sexual orientation. I personally believe that's done, and I believe that it is the great coming together. And there are going to be some people that fight that tooth and nail to the very bitter end, unfortunately. But if anything, identify things that truly count if the circumstances change. Become more resilient as you grow. You get stronger. It's like scar tissue. When you cut something, yeah, it hurts like a son of a gun, but it heals and it gets stronger. It doesn't look as pretty, but it shows you that the scars help you get through life, right? The gray hair helps you determine that you've aged, but you've gone through life the best you can. But that scar tissue makes you stronger. So, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? That's the old saying. It helps you focus on short-term goals, like, you know, maybe it's just getting your homework done, or maybe it's looking after a family member or a brother or sister, or maybe it's getting on a school team. Those are short-term goals. Long-term goals can be anything from, you know, doing volunteer work, Doctors Without Borders, doing something overseas, helping somebody else, paying it forward, getting some sort of trade vocation, or graduating from college. Something that was big for me was to go to college, first in my family to actually graduate from college. And my drive to join the U.S. Coast Guard to pay for my college degree, to get an undergrad and a graduate degree, that was my long-term goal. And it took several years to do that while I was working through the U.S. Coast Guard, but it paid for all my school, so I'm not in debt. So that's another thing. Don't go into debt for your schooling. Maybe it's your long-term goal is to start a family. But when you have a sense of purpose, what it does, it helps you reflect. It gives the things that you've worked on, it gives it meaning, it gives it security. It also brings pleasure and joy and happiness into your life. And again, that can be anything from family to the comforts that you enjoy around your house, financial stability, health, your laughter. I always say that your health is your true wealth, especially right now during a great pandemic. And again, qualities you respect in yourself and others can be honesty, integrity, moral compass, fairness, equality, respect. And there's a lot of that right now, and I'm standing up to it, guys, and I'm going to continue to stand up to it, because, again, I treat others as I like to be treated. And when I see, you know, it's kind of like what John Lewis talked about. When you see something that's wrong, you have a moral obligation to stand up and say what's right, and people are always going to disagree with you. So I just wanted to talk about that today. You know, having a sense of purpose is important. Even when things are going bad, you know, right now there's just a lot going on, but stay positive, stay in love. Again, there's going to be a lot of pundits out there, a lot of critics that will only want to divide. You know, Dr. King, I want to go back to Dr. King. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. And that's a point in our history right now is where we're at. So I'm going to get ready for the Healing Cafe. I did want to remind everybody that's watching my show, again, pay it forward, treat others as you like to be treated, the golden rule. For those of that are having a rough time, I just wanted to remind people that there is a hotline out there called the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's 1-800-273-TALK or 1-800-273-8255. The website is suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's always available. Help a loved one, help yourself, help a friend. Make sure to share this. And the totem animal spirit for this week is the starfish. So if you see the starfish show up in your journey, the starfish is to reminder to keep your senses open to new opportunities that are about to appear, and trust your intuition about which are the right ones to take advantage of. Your I am affirmation for this week, I'll read it to you. It says, I allow myself to trust my decisions, which is your intuition, trusting your intuition, because we all have many choices and free will on where we're going in the journey. And then, of course, your numerology for this week is spirituality, the number 7. There's going to be a lot of truth coming up, you guys. The full moon is tonight. We're in the month of August. The Lion's Gate of 8-8 is opening in the next few days, in 5 days from now. Spirituality is going to really start to open and reveal. There's going to be a great revelation that's going to take place. Some call it the apocalypse. The Greek word actually just means lifting or revelation of stuff. You're going to see that in the month of August. It's a number 77, which is a double truth. So the truth will come out. The truth will set you free, right? And then last but not least, your crystal for this week is, I picked the Aqua Aura. It's a labradorite made with specialized quartz. But it's called the Aqua Aura. And the reason I picked that for you this week, and it comes in a whole bunch of different colors, but it's healing properties. It helps the immune system. But what it does, it's beneficial in reflecting the alchemy process that bonds us to life and all the different elements, if you will, that we are made up of. And it's also a stone for channeling and self-expression. And I think that we're going to see more self-expression as we move forward, especially as we get closer to a national election. There's going to be more political divide. But like I said, purpose, find your plan. If you're not sure what that is, think about what your passions are and start to have a purpose behind that. Because this pandemic, again, purpose in a pandemic is paradigm. It's literally going to shift you from things you never thought, that you were going to do. Steve Maraboli, if you guys follow Dr. Steve Maraboli, who I follow, he talks about you were put on this earth to achieve your greatest self, to live out your purpose, and to do it courageously. And I believe that. Again, don't be in competition with anybody except yourself. Try to be the best version of yourself than you were yesterday and what you can be tomorrow. Again, stay the course. Just know that you're going to have some ugliness. You're going to have some, skepticism. You're going to have some critics. You're going to have some pundits. You're going to have people, family, friends, relationships that want to only see the words coming out of your mouth if it meets their agenda or their ideology or their belief system. Live your authentic self. Part of your purpose is to find who you are and to live your authentic self. So I wanted to share that with you today, and I'll just leave you with a little Aristotle. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. And that's from Aristotle. Again, I'll say it again. Happiness is the meaning and purpose of life, the whole aim and the whole aim and end of human experience. So I hope that you find your purpose. I hope that you find your passion, and I hope that you find a plan to start achieving your purpose and what your passions are here on this planet. A lot of peace today. So I'm going to head over to the Healing Cafe. Again, if you want to follow me at marclainhart.com, internet search Intuitive Prospector. I've got a fantastic show coming up here, not this week, but next Wednesday. International guest with a free digital book of her, the upcoming show. You can go to Inspired Living Radio and make sure to click on that link. But you have to join that global community for my podcast called Inspired Living Radio. I hope that you'll join me on Wednesdays for that. Again, all the information's at marclainhart.com. That's your one-stop shop for everything. You can also find me through Alexa on your Echo Pod. Just ask to open up Positive Living. And again, find your purpose. Find your plan. Find your passion. That's very important. And again, it's very important to have a sense of purpose in this pandemic that we find ourselves in. So I'll just leave you with the actual definition of purpose and kind of plant that seed, and you take it and plant it in your garden wherever you want, or you throw it out the door and say, oh, that guy was full of crap. The purpose definition is, it's a noun, the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. There you go. So until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate, and most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. I'll see you next Monday for another Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. Stay safe, stay healthy. Cheers to you. Much love. Namaste.